man. So I took them yesterday. So this is the day after, literally. So I might be still 1 foot in, 1 foot out right now, but I just want to give a raw trip report. It just is beyond me that you can even experience that your consciousness can expand and go to these places, and you can feel the things you're feeling, and it's just... So yeah, I'm gonna break it down. So I took it with 3 of my good friends, you know what I'm saying? Make sure, if you are going to take these mushrooms or whatever psychedelic you want to take, make sure you're doing it with some good people, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be tripping with no one that you're not really too comfortable with. You want to make sure you are with people that have your best interest in mind, that really have your back, because you never know what could go wrong when you're on these psychedelics. So you just got to make sure that, you got some good people around you, people you could really trust. So yeah, I took an eighth of shrooms. So it was about 5:30, and we wanted to trip in the daytime because we've never tripped in the daytime before. So we wanted to experience like that day to night time shift or whatever. And I wanted to be in the light and in the sun when I was tripping. And even though it was a little cloudy out, I live in Florida, it was kind of cloudy and it was raining a little bit. So there wasn't too much sun, but I feel like it was just a perfect experience, like regardless. We took the shrooms, and it was about 5:30. We're waiting for it to kick in. And mind you, I didn't really eat nothing that day. I literally just had a slice of pizza up until 5:30 that day. But so it was about 5:30. We take the shrooms and we go outside. And we're going outside. We're chilling. We're waiting for to feel it a little bit. We're just talking, vibing. I'm just like kind of pacing back and forth. And we're waiting for the come up, waiting to feel it. And I'm starting to feel it some type of way now. I felt my hands and my arms, like it was almost like I couldn't feel them, or like I felt my bones inside my body, something like that. And then, time goes by a little bit, and I'm gonna talk about time on mushrooms and psychedelics, because holy shit, it felt like I lived like millions of lifetimes yesterday. I swear to God. Like, felt like I just experienced so much, and time felt completely distorted and just warped long, and it's just crazy how like your perception of time can change like that, like on a substance like that. But it's just very, very interesting to me. So we go outside, right? Like I said, we're waiting for them to kick in. So I start to lay down a little bit, and I come back inside real quick to get a sip of water, because I didn't even drink water after I ate the shrooms. I let the psilocybin break down a little bit before I drink the water. So I came back inside about 10-15 minutes after, and then I drink some water. And then I go back outside, and I start to feel like the feeling like I wasn't me. Like there was like I didn't have an identity almost. I was starting to really feel connected with Earth, connected with Mother Nature, just one with everything, right? So we started to just lay down, and I was getting the feeling like I wasn't me, like I did not exist. I was starting to get the feeling like I was just everything. Like, I was like it was very weird feeling. I don't really know how to describe it that well, but it was just like, it was almost like in a movie, like watching over myself, And that was on the come up, And then so I start to lay down, and I'm getting a little anxiety a little bit, because, the come up can bring a little anxiety. So I'm just trying to calm down. Now I'm trying to taking deep breaths in and out, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm really starting to trip, Everything's starting to look crazy. And so, we're talking a little bit. We're laughing a little bit, just giggling, just kind of like straight up giggling, just coming out. Felt like a child, man. But so then, I take my shoes off. I want to ground and connect with the earth, right? So I'm outside. They're kind of talking, and I just start laying down right on the ground. I just start laying down on the ground, and my head was back, and I felt so connected. I felt like I was the ground. I was the dirt. I was the earth. I felt like I was everything. Straight up, I felt like I was literally everything in just one. And like I said, I've kind of been experiencing my own ego death already. But I remember just this kept repeating to me when I was laying down. I kept repeating this to myself. There is no me, I do not exist. And it was really like clicking and making sense to me at the time. Like it just, everything, when you're on shrooms and all these psychedelics, your brain is interacting in ways it's never interacted before. There's neural pathways that are connecting and talking to each other that have never communicated. So your brain is going crazy, and you can, you just understand things a lot quicker, like on a very deeper level, on a different level. So it's like, I felt like I understood everything. I was looking straight up into the sky, and I felt like I was looking directly into the universe, like, and I could understand everything. So this was really cool. Every time I would look into the sky, and a lot during the trip, I would see Buddhas, like the Buddha figure, Like I said, very confident though. I felt very safe with that, and like I just felt like that's a very peaceful energy. They're just meditating, they were just chilling, but I was seeing them everywhere, which has never happened to me on shrooms before. I've never seen stuff like that before, like just Buddha faces, and like a lot of like Hinduism, like images, and saw the Buddha everywhere, like just making faces out of the sky or in the ground, on the fence, in the trees. I was seeing it everywhere. So, I'm still laying down on the earth, on the ground, and I'm just in it. The sun is hitting me. I felt so good. The rays were hitting me, and oh my God, I just felt so amazing. And so then I remember I'm still laying there, and I'm closing my eyes. And then I see like Native Americans. Like it wasn't the whole body. It was just like the face of like 3-4 Native Americans. And I felt like I got a lot of ancestral vibes. Like they were my ancestors or something like that. I just felt, once again, safe and connected. And I felt like they were there for me, like greeting me, welcoming me to this world, to wherever I was going. Because, man, it is a totally different world. You are in a totally different world when you are on this substance, right? Totally different world. So I felt like they were like greeting me and welcoming me. And I remember I felt, once again, very safe and connected. And I saw these Native Americans. And I remember one of them was like handing me something, almost like a pipe or something, like something to smoke. He was just handing me something. And I don't know, like it's hard to explain, and it felt a lot crazier, obviously. Like, I feel like I was coming up with so much realizations, and like everything was just making sense. Like that's what I kept telling myself too. Everything made sense. Like everything, like I felt like I had perfect clarity in my life. I was like, this is where I needed to be at this time. Everything's supposed to be how it is. This is exactly how it's supposed to be with my fucking best friends. Like they were all having a good ass time, and just everything made sense. Just everything was like perfect. And I felt that, like I understood everything that was taking place in my life, why it was taking place. And it was just, yeah, I just remember saying to myself, everything made sense and I understand. I kept saying that to myself as well. Everything made sense and I understand. And like I said, another thing I kept repeating to myself was, there is no me, I do not exist. Because this whole time when I was tripping, I felt like Gianni did not exist. I felt like I didn't have my own identity. Yeah, it felt like I did not have my own identity. It just felt like I was just like floating, like using this body as a vessel to just move in this world, but like no ego, no identity. Seriously, no identity. I was just everything, and I was just one with everything, and I was getting a lot of closed eye visuals, just seeing super crazy stuff, really super crazy stuff. So yeah, I'm already closing my eyes and stuff, and I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm a very spiritual person already. So, I feel like things I think about on a daily basis are, the astral realm, spiritual beings, entities, I think about that stuff on a regular basis already. So when I'm in this world now, in the shroom world, laying down, and I'm closing my eyes, and I see all these figures, coming to me and talking to me, I feel like I'm just like in that world a little bit, in the astral realm or something like that. But this is probably totally different. This is, mushrooms, whatever you're seeing, I don't know. But it was weird. I definitely feel like mushrooms hold an energy and there's a spirit in them. And like these natives came to me and knew, like, they were welcoming me, greeting me. And so, it was just very cool. Yeah, where was I gonna go? I lost myself. But yeah, so I'm laying down there, and then I would look up into the sky, and I would see like these figures form in the sky, and like I would just see like a feminine body, I guess, like a feminine looking body, like a lot of feminine energy, just like Mother Earth energy. A lot of feminine energy. I don't know what it was. I would just look up into the sky and I felt feminine energy. But once again, it was very comforting. It was very safe. I felt like connected and just one with everything, man. And I kept thinking to myself, while I was laying down looking into the sky and seeing these Buddhas everywhere and these Hinduism stuff and just the natives, I was like, they knew. They understood this world way better than we do now. Like I felt like we were so lost and they knew the truth. And I felt like I could see directly into the truth. I would look up into the sky and I felt like I could just see like directly into the universe, And I just understood like everything. Seriously, it felt like I understood everything in this world, in the universe. And I just remember telling myself, I was like, yo, they knew. The people in Buddha and Hinduism knew what this was and knew how this works and knew the correct way of life and how to look at life. It's a much simpler way they looked at life. The natives even too, it was a very much simpler way. And I just remember feeling like they knew the truth and they were showing me that. They were showing me what to do, and they were showing me like why the life we live, I don't know, like we're lost. And I just kept saying that to myself too. Like they knew what it was and how this world worked and the universe and just all that. It was very, very cool, man. Very, very weird, but very, very cool. My earrings fell out. I jumped in the pool. I'm gonna get to that. So, I get up and, I was laying down for a little while, and then I was like, yo, I feel like moving. And I see my little brother just run, and he was like jumping around and shit. And I was like, that looked fucking amazing. So I get up, I just started running. I felt like I could make these crazy jumps, like thank God I didn't try no crazy shit, but I felt like I could do anything. I was like running, jumping, sprinting, and just doing like a lot of parkour shit. And we were outside. I have a pool in my backyard, and I'm standing on the edge of the pool, and I'm looking down at it, and I'm like, that would be crazy if I went to the pool. I would enter a whole nother world again. And I was like, damn, should I go in the pool? And I didn't even think. And I just fell back and dropped in. It felt like I was like baptized. I just fell back and just dropped in like that. And they all saw me. They were like, what the fuck is he doing? And I came out and I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. Whatever. And the water just felt so cool. Thank God the water was warm too, but the water just felt like so cool to be in. And once again, I felt like a whole nother, like the vibe can change so quick on shrooms, like whatever thoughts you're having can dictate the whole trip. Whatever environment around you, it like can play a role how the trip will be, I guess. Setting plays a huge role when you take shrooms. So please be careful with that too. You don't want to be doing this and I know a lot of people take them as like a club, a party drug, but you have to be careful because you never know what the fuck could happen and where your mind's gonna go on these drugs, and it just feel really intense and scary sometimes if you're not in the right place. But if you are in the right place, it could feel like euphoria, like just straight euphoric feelings. And that's what we were experiencing. We were experiencing straight euphoria. We were laughing. We were saying we feel like a kid again. Like we were getting like all these childhood memories and we could like see them so clearly. All of us were like experiencing these same memories together that we shared together as childs. And it was just coming back. And we were experiencing that again. And it was just, we felt like a kid again. Like we literally felt like a kid again. I felt like I was reliving my childhood a little bit, like childhood memories. So yeah, I jumped in the pool, whatever, I get out. And then I was like, yo, You know, I probably wasn't coming down, but, you know, I was like, we were just chilling, you know? And I was like, yo, I told my boy Frankie, like, yo, let's smoke some weed now. You know what I'm saying? Let's smoke some weed. Let's get a nice little spliff going. Let's get that tobacco rush. I felt like the natives, that's what like he was handing me. He was handing me like a little pipe or some shit to smoke. You know, like something to smoke, like tobacco. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna smoke a spliff right now. So, you know, Frankie rolls up a spliff. I get out the pool, I got my towel on, and now all them boys are about to go in the pool too. They're like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. You know, so we're smoking the spliff now and we're just chilling. And you know, as I'm smoking it, we're still vibing. I'm still having a good ass time. And then we roll up another one. We roll up a pure, and we're smoking this pure, right? And this is where it gets a little weird. You got to be careful with the cannabis and shrooms mix because it can create a weird mix. And if you're not comfortable with both substances, then I would not recommend it. But, you know, a lot of people do like smoking on mushrooms, but for me, sometimes it just creates a little bit of paranoia, and it just creates this weird mix that I really don't like and can lead to a bad trip sometimes for me. So, you know, we're smoking this joint, and then my little brother looks at me and he's like, yo, I'm kind of having like a bad trip now. And we were having an amazing trip before, but he looks at me now and he's like, yo, I'm kind of having like a bad trip now. And I was getting lost in my thoughts now already too. Like that could happen when you're on stream. You will just get lost in one thought, getting taken from one place to another. And yeah, so we were just sitting there, and then he tells me, yo, like I'm kind of getting these weird thoughts now. And then I was like, oh shit, because I know what like that could feel like. I've done research on what a bad trip could feel like, and I've heard people, and I didn't want this to happen because we were just feeling so much euphoria and so much ecstasy, and then to go to that feeling and those thoughts now, and I can almost guarantee it was the weed, you know what I'm saying? Because we were chilling before, and then we smoked this weed, and we start to feel a little paranoia and shit and little weird thoughts, and it could be really scary sometimes. It just feels like you are doomed. Like it feels like you are just digging a hole and you are doomed. Like the world is ended and you are going to be in this state forever. It just feels like hell. Like it seriously just feels like hell. But then something hit me, and I want to get to that. You know, he's coming inside now. He's like, yo, I just need to go inside. So I was like, all right, I got to check on him, you know, because I got to make sure he's good. I don't want him feeling no type of way, you know. Because I don't want him to experience a bad trip, you know, and I know people need to experience what they need to experience, but it was just the fact that we were just having an amazing time, and now we smoked weed, and I did not want that shit to turn sideways. I did not want that shit to go sideways. And so, you know, I come inside, and I see him there, and I'm starting to talk to him a little bit, and I'm tripping my ass off now because I'm high on weed now too and on shrooms, and it felt like a whole nother trip after we smoked the weed. It felt like a whole other trip now, right? You know, you start to see a little different visuals. Everything starts to look a little 3D blocky, like that's the shroom and weed mix. Like everything starts to look like 3D blocky, cartoonish like, and you know, like I said, you can get some really weird thoughts when you do this, and you gotta be careful because, like I said, it just feels like you are doomed. Like literally, that's the best way to describe it. Like you were just digging a hole, and it gets getting deeper and deeper and worse, and you don't know how to get out, you know. So I'm trying to talk to him because I did not want him to experience that. Like I care for him so much, and I just wanted him to be good, and I wanted him to just experience a good time, really. So, you know, I'm talking to him, and then I start like venting and ranting to him, and I start bawling my eyes out. I have not cried like that in so long. I have never like cried like that in a while, like legit bawling tears out. And it felt good because, you know, I guess that's raw emotion just really coming out. But I was just telling him, I was like, yo, I fucking love you. I got you. You're good, you know. And then he's probably tripping his ass off still. I didn't realize that I was coming off a little maybe too heavy sometimes, and that could trip someone out too, you know? Like, I forgot we were on different levels. He only took about like 1.5 Gs or something like that, and I was on like an eighth of shrooms, 3.3, and so I'm like, I was like, yo, give me a fucking hug, bro. Like, I hugged him. I told him I loved him so much. I got you. Like, you are good, bro. You are good. And something hit me. I told him, I was like, yo, how did we just experience those amazing heaven-like states, and now we're going into these dark, doomed, like, feels like there's like monsters over you, like just paranoid state. So something hit me. I was like, hold up. If we can experience both of this, we really are just the observer of whatever is taking place in this life. We are the observer of this experience. And I tried to explain that to him. I said, step back for a second and try to watch your thoughts as much as possible, because you are not your fucking thoughts. And that shit hit me when we were experiencing these ecstasy, euphoric states to these fucking hell states. Like, just, you feel like you are doomed, like I said. I was like, wait a minute. I stepped back and I said, if we can experience both of that in like a matter of like just time like that, seconds or whatever, minutes, like it just switched, just shifted like that. I said, if we could experience both of that, we seriously must be the observer, you know? We try to judge everything good or bad, but it really just is. Everything just is. We put labels and concepts on this stuff, but everything really just is. And that shit hit me yesterday. I told him, I was like, bro, remember a couple things. Number one, all is well. Okay? All is well. And number two, this too shall pass. This too shall fucking pass. Because whatever you were experiencing will go away at one point. I was trying to tell him, remember that we will be out of this state soon, this state of mind soon, and the sun will come up tomorrow, and we could talk about this shit and laugh about this shit and just understand it better. And I'm so grateful that we experienced both sides of that light and dark side of that trip, because I feel like I gained a lot more out of it like that. And that's why you have to be careful. If you are looking into shrooms, I would suggest doing a lot of research, and because before you jump into them, because you don't know how you're going to react to this stuff. Everyone reacts differently. Everyone has a different experience. You know, it's never the same for everyone. It is never the same for everyone. So if you have the awareness of what this drug can do to you, of what, you know, I don't even like to call it a drug. I look at it as medicine. Seriously, that was a therapy session. Yesterday was a fucking therapy session. It felt like, they say, you know, mushrooms can feel like years of therapy in one day. And that's seriously what it felt like. I felt like years of just therapy and understanding and experience in fucking hours, man. It was crazy. And I told him, I said, bro, this too shall pass. Try and step back away from your thoughts. I know it's hard because we're high as fuck right now. We are tripping our ass off. We are high as fuck on mushrooms, on weed. We are high as fuck. So I know it's hard, you know? But try and just step back and watch these thoughts, and just remember, you are the observer. You are not these thoughts. You are not whatever the fuck you're thinking about, you know? Observe it and don't judge it good or bad. It just is, and just observe it, man. You know? So I'll go outside and I talk to my friends. Thank God for them, because they were in good spirits. And that's exactly what I need to hear. I come outside and I was like, yo, Rocco's kind of feeling some type of way. We just had this crazy, like, experience. I was like, I just bawled my eyes out. I've never cried like that before. And I cried so much that night. Like, I would just randomly tear up that night. I was intense, man. I even right now, bro, I feel fucking reborn. I feel like a different person. I feel like shattered, like, in a good way, though. But, like, it was just insane, man. And then I'll tell them, and they were like, no, you know, we're in good vibes. We're in good spirits. And they brought me back. They grounded me back, brought me back to what we were feeling before. And I was like, wait, yeah, no, we are in good spirits. Like, this is not a bad trip, because we've experienced like a little bit of a bad trip before. We've tripped with fucking 15 people before. We called it Shrooms Given. Everyone took shrooms there, and that was fucking. You don't want to do that. We were tripping with people we'd never even met before, and you know, it just, you really feel weird like that. And I remember that feeling was coming back, and I was like, wait, no, I don't want to feel that. We were just feeling these euphoric fucking feelings. I want to feel that. I want to stay in that feeling. So I'm talking to my two friends outside, you know, the sun setting, and they're still loving it. They're looking at the nature, and they're like, bro, this is so beautiful. And we're in great spirits the whole time, even with the weed. They didn't really get paranoid or nothing like that. They were in great spirits, and we needed that because, you know, I could have been turning the wrong way too. It felt like, you know, we were on like a spaceship. Imagine like yourself on like a spaceship, and you're looking out the window. You're looking out the window and you see like the sun. Like, imagine you're in space. You see the sun. You're like taking all these beautiful views, and you're like, it is just beautiful what you're experiencing. And then I felt like we got hit with something, like a fucking meteor hit us or some shit, and we took the wrong turn. It's like, oh shit, the fucking spaceship lights start going off, starts flashing, you know, and we took the wrong turn. I fucking had to get in the pilot seat real quick to fucking try and steer us back, you know, like that. That's what it felt like, because that shit, you can go sideways, bro, and it can be scary. It can seriously be really scary, so you have to be careful, you know, with that stuff. But so we're still outside, the sun's setting, it's kind of getting a little darker now, you know, and yeah, we come inside. I don't even know, it felt like years we were outside for. I swear to God, it felt like we were outside for literally years. But yeah, you know, I feel like I gained so much experience, so much new and different perspectives off this trip. And a lot of things that I was realizing that I cared about in my life does not matter. We care about this small shit. We care about all this egotistical stuff. Ego is the enemy. Ego is the enemy. I promise you, ego is the enemy. If you learn how to control your ego, you're gonna win in life. You're gonna win in life. Don't let the ego control you, because it does not know what it's doing. The ego is lost. The ego is free will going rogue, you know? It just does whatever it wants, and it doesn't care about anyone else, and it's me, and we try and break everything down and make everything such a big deal when it's so small, and this stuff doesn't matter. That the stuff we care about does really not matter, as long as you're fucking healthy and good. And another thing that really hit me too, that I really understood more, you know, like I said, I'm already a very spiritual person. I meditate every day, and, you know, I'm very in the moment a lot, in the present moment, in the here and now. But I feel like when Ram Dass talks about the here and now, and all these spiritual gurus and whatever, these teachers, when they talk about the here and now, like I said, I felt like I was very connected to like Buddha and Hinduism in that trip, like that type of energy. I felt like they were with me in that trip, and the natives were with me, and, you know, I felt like I really understood how important it is to be here and now, and how much everything is okay in the here and now. You know, I had to keep coming back into the moment. Every time I came back into the moment during that trip, I was good. But it was when my thoughts would go the other way and this way, and I felt like I was digging a hole for myself. My friend said, yo, just be in the moment. And I understood it so much, how powerful the here and now is, and how if you are in the here and now, the moment you are in right now, just be present, totally fucking present, you are good. I promise you, I realized that yesterday, how important and big that is. You are seriously good in the present moment. If it is not a life or death situation, it is your mind just going crazy. Be in the moment, take some deep breaths, and just appreciate what's in front of you. Don't worry about what you have to say. If you're with people you don't know, let it flow. Let the moment be the moment, and you will be good. And I understood that so much yesterday. I'm telling you, I feel like I understood a lot yesterday. I kept saying to myself, I understand. I felt like I understood the world, the universe. I just understand. And I understand why they talk about the here and now so much, because it seriously is the place you want to be if you want to be happy, if you want to be at peace. Be in the moment. Be in the fucking moment, because you are good in the moment. Step away from your thoughts, observe and step back from your thoughts, and be totally present. And I'm telling you, you will feel so much better. And I had to keep reminding myself that every time we'd get lost and we would try and talk about the trip, like even during the trip, we would try and break it down and talk about what we were just experiencing. And, you know, I wanted to tell them everything I was experiencing. I wanted to tell them the visuals I was seeing, but I couldn't, because even when you talk about stuff like that on a trip, it could even like make you feel a little weird now. You're talking about the trip already while you're still in it, and it's like you could go sideways with that, you know. So we just had to be in the moment. I said, I'm going to save all this talk for tomorrow, and this is tomorrow. I'm making this video right now. I said, I'm going to save all this talk for tomorrow. I'm going to tell y'all boys what I experienced that day, but the visuals. But, man, it was beautiful experience. I would not trade it for anything. I felt like it was perfect. Like, I feel like I understood everything in my life. I had perfect clarity around my life. I knew divine timing is also real as fuck, that everything, there's a greater plan. There is a greater plan for you, for this life. There is a plan, and I promise you, trust that plan. We get lost sometimes. Our ego gets lost, and we want everything so quick. We want this instant gratification, and we want everything, we identify with the most stupid stuff, and we act like we need all this stuff in our life when really we don't. Like, really, you are good and you have everything you need right now. And yeah, everything made sense yesterday. Everything made sense, and I would not trade that experience for the world. I felt like it was perfect, even that we took that little turn of events and it felt like it was going downward a little bit. We got out of it. I felt like I dodged the bullet, not a bullet. I dodged the bullet, you know what I'm saying? Because I saw the bullet, I recognized the bullet, I saw what it could do to you. And with great respect, I saw what it could do to you, you know what I'm saying? But we dodged that motherfucker because it was quick. We bounced out of that bad trip state quick because I did not want to experience that. I got in the driver's seat of that fucking spaceship. You know what I'm saying? We dodged the bullet, but we saw what the bullet could do to you, Man, beautiful, crazy, insane shroom experience. Be careful if you're looking to get into psychedelics, But yeah, man, this was truly an amazing time, and I would not trade that experience for anything. I'm trying to see if I forgot anything I wanted to mention. Yeah, no, and then I guess I was just kept coming back to the fact that I had so much love and gratitude for the people around me. I kept telling them that. I was like, yo, I have so much love for y'all boys. I have so much gratitude for y'all boys. Like, I appreciate you guys so much. Like, everyone was there for each other. It was a good ass team, bro. It was a good ass circle of people to have. Like, if anyone was feeling some type of way, we could just talk to each other without feeling judged, without feeling, criticized. We could just talk to each other, and we understood where you're coming from, and we had their backs. They had my back, and I got their back, So I just felt an overwhelming feeling of love and gratitude towards them. And honestly, even myself too. I felt a lot of self-love yesterday, which felt very good. I was happy who I was becoming. I know it doesn't make sense. I just said I do not exist, but you know what I'm saying, if you get it. Yeah, man, have fun with shrooms, but be careful. Treat it seriously like a medicine, y'all. Treat it like a therapy session, because it is, Yeah, make sure you are tripping in a good area, a comfortable, safe area you were comfortable in, you're home, no one was home besides us too, so it was very good, man. It was a very good experience, and yeah, man, I didn't care about nothing yesterday. I was literally laying down in the earth. I felt like I was the earth. I felt like I was the dirt. And I remember it even started to rain a little bit, just drizzling, and I just loved it. I felt like I was the rain. I felt like I was everything. I seriously felt like I was everything, and just connected with everything and one with everything. It was a beautiful and amazing experience. And I was telling we were talking, and I was like, yo, if everyone experienced this world would be a different place. And I could vouch for that. If everyone experienced the feelings we were feeling yesterday, this world would be a different place, 1,000,000%. But that's for a different story. That's the whole the hippie wave in the 60s and all that, right? Everyone should experience this. The world would be a different place. They were on to something. Seriously, they were, though. Like, the world would be a much different place if people experience this stuff in a good way. People have all these negative outlooks on this, but it's really just ignorance. They don't understand what it really is. They don't understand what this substance really can do, And it's very sacred, natural substance that comes from the earth, man. And I feel like it is here for a reason, for us to experience and for us to learn from and to expand our conscious awareness, The fact that we could experience that. Please, if you're looking into psychedelics, please be careful and do your research on them. You don't just want to jump into them not knowing what it could do to you, because you got to be careful. This shit, you can experience some crazy states, so you really have to be careful, and you don't want to play with them. You don't want to mess around with them, because these shits can take your mind somewhere else, and it could be the best experience of your life or seriously the worst experience of your life. So, like, please be careful and understand what you're getting into, and take it step by step, you know what I'm saying? I think my first trip, I took, like, I don't know, it was like 2 G's or something the first time, but, like, take it step by step. Take 1 G, 1.5. Don't just jump into a crazy dose like that. You're not going to know what it does to you, and you just have to be careful. And yeah, if you're gonna mix like shrooms and weed, or you taking LSD, acid and weed, it probably creates another weird mix. You just gotta be careful, man, because, you know, it can create a weird mix, straight up. Yeah, that's really it though, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You know, if you want to hear more stories like this, I could definitely give y'all some more stories. You know, and I want to hear some of y'all stories as well. You know, what have you experienced with psychedelics? If you experienced some crazy trips, leave them in the comments. And what do you think about psychedelics as well? You know, like, you think it could change the world for the better? No, I believe it really can. You know, my guy Paul, I'm not even sure his last name, Paul Stamets, yeah, a big advocate for mushrooms. He said mushrooms can save the world. And I could kind of see that now, really. But, you know, mushrooms it's a great tool, it's a great medicine, and you have to treat it like that. You got to treat it with respect, because it is a very sacred energy. And I believe there are spirits in those mushrooms, and you gotta set and make sure you're in a good state of mind before you jump into them, and make sure you're in a good setting, you know, because that plays a huge role. The environment plays a huge role. Like, the vibe can change. You can, like, it was cloudy for us, and that created like a dark environment, and then the sun came out, right? And then we felt like a lighter environment, right? We felt all like a little better when the sun was out, and the clouds would come up again, you know, and then you feel like it's like a little darker, you know. The environment plays a huge role, so you just gotta be careful where you're at. But hey man, that's it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and hey, I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching this. It's Gianni, and I'm out. Have an amazing day.